What's going on, guys? Milo89 here, welcome back to the channel. In this video I wanted to talk about CERN, portals, the great sun in heaven, some of these ancient prophecies, and the solar flare event that might be coming up soon, just for consideration in the times that we're in, because it's important to maybe plan for the worst but hope for the best, and keep your eyes peeled and just, be ready no matter what, because a lot is going down at the moment. And so I think, again, context, it's important to realise that, September 23rd, 2017, we actually experienced the great sign in heaven. And this was otherwise depicted in the book of Revelation, with the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet, with a crown of 12 stars on her head, otherwise about to give birth. Well, this was just a depiction of the sun in Virgo at the time, with the moon at her feet, and 3 planets and the 9 stars of Leo above her as the crown, and Jupiter literally moved out of the womb of Virgo the following day, and so it was actually in a retrograde for 9 months prior, mimicking gestation of the womb. Yeah, so pay attention. That has not come to pass throughout all the histories of the algorithms of these celestial software programs. So it's so unique. And this is otherwise what is being referred to in the Bible, which has been decoded, which I came into the knowledge of, which for me at the moment marked the 7 years of tribulation that we're halfway through. Okay, and so it said, halfway Satan's meant to return. Well, look at what happened last year, coronavirus. And if you, do the gematria on Corona, 666, and the fact that I experienced what I experienced last year with the bat out of hell, it's all very symbolic of what the Bible actually prophesies, so it's worth paying attention. And I found this out through a guy called Naughty Beaver on YouTube. It's worth checking him out. He otherwise decodes the Nostradamus prophecy because he had his own awakening, and he actually recognised he was prophesied by Nostradamus himself to help decode around this time, bringing in the Great Tribulation. Alright, so a lot can happen now until the end of the 7 year, which is 2024, September time 2024. So it's worth really keeping your eyes peeled. And so there's a lot going on at the moment, and I want to talk about CERN, especially with that in mind, that we are in the Great Tribulation. Okay, and all these ancient prophecies, otherwise the Hopi, the Zoroastrians, all these other prophecies are bottlenecking and are all ticking the boxes as to the things we're seeing and experiencing right here, right now. So it's like, okay, wakey, pay attention now, yeah? There's a lot that's going on. So I want to talk about CERN. CERN, otherwise, has been set up, of course, to the profane and the exterior, muggles, basically, the rest of the world. They want to convince us that it's for science, particle physics. Bullshit. This thing is otherwise a portal that's going to be used to fucking open up interdimensional entities that are regressive into planet Earth. And there's been a lot of information online on YouTube from some channels talking about this, from channel work from the Galactic Federation, and also on Naughty Beaver's channel, worth checking out. That there's currently a bit of a stalemate going on with entities and regressives on Mars, and what they want to do here on Earth with their minions acting, humans who basically sold their souls to these fucking regressives, and the fallen angels on the ground here as well on Earth aren't willing to give up the fight. They're kind of surrounded by the benevolent ones at the moment, but they don't want to give up a fight. But they otherwise want to open a portal to summon in, all their astral brethren and fallen entities and the higher gods, the higher Alpha Draconian gods, the Luciferic entities, otherwise depicted in the Bible. And so this is very, very prophetic and telling us to what potentially could happen. We don't know, because obviously there may be different timelines playing out, and that's all based on the collective consciousness of humanity and what happens here on the ground. There's certain things that are written that can't be undone because that's the word of God, but there's obviously within each sub-chapter or subsection of each storyline that he's otherwise written out for it to just act out, as it were, in this great universe, this cosmic drama. There's certain things that are set in stone and certain things that we can influence and change and maybe make it a lot more benevolent or a lot more regressive, and that depends on the people, that depends on the power of us collectively in order to steer the ship, the mothership, Mother Earth, into the left-hand path or right-hand path. So that's worth considering, and they believe when that happens there's going to be a huge clash because obviously the higher gods, true source entities, aren't going to allow this to, you know, consume the earth, especially here in this solar system. Because if the earth falls, this is the heart of our solar system, and you think of our solar system as like an actual celestial being in itself, and we are part of the chakras of this being. Otherwise, you know, in the microcosmic form, we're actually in the heart of this being. Earth is the heart, and Earth at the moment is trying to be taken over in the heart. And so this can't go on. If they take over the heart, then they've got access to the rest of this celestial entity, the solar system, and that can't happen unless, you know, if that does happen, then you could say bye-bye to your free will and freedom, and you're probably going to end up just serving this regressive demonic entity for a very long time. Who knows? But just, you know, discern for yourself. I'm just raising your awareness as the potentialities of this possibly happening. So whoever's over Geneva at that point, and this is prophesied in Nostradamus, there could be a huge fucking cataclysm happen when these gods lock horns. Yeah. So that's one worth considering. And there's also, this ties in, if they want to open up a portal to allow all these entities to pour in en masse here on Earth, then it makes sense that solar flare is being the basically kind of, you know, going to be using in order to help maybe wipe out and shut down the grids and just get rid of all the fucking evil that is here, to shut down the portals and maybe reset. Who knows? I've had a lot of dreams actually with deluges and floods, and I've had a few people message me too. So you've got the solar flare, the floods, maybe both, maybe none of them. This is, you know, this is all part of the discussion. We've got to open our minds up to these things. We can't ignore the signs. But I've had 2 dreams now where I've woken up in the house in the astrals, and the water level was, you know, right up to the top floor where I'm in the loft, indicating a flood. And another dream I had actually was wiped out twice, which was quite interesting in the dream. Tidal wave came in, completely wiped me out, and all of a sudden I was reset back in the room where I began the dream consciously. And I went out to the harbour and I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? This is weird. Like, I couldn't die in my dream. Which is otherwise, you know, testament again to, you know, just our immortal nature. Having that experience. They say you can't die in your dream. I should have. Because I got completely wiped out by this tidal wave, but then reset back in the same room. Not once, but twice. So it happened to me again. And I was thinking, wow, that was really, you know what I mean? How weird is that? Now, how many people have had that experience? I mean, if you have, let me know. Leave a comment. Where you've actually been wiped out in the dream, and you just start back where we're conscious again. It's almost like giving it another chance. But I didn't have much time. It was like almost 2 minutes played out before this tidal wave came in again. So it was just like the second time through, everything was the same, but I was just kind of seeing things a bit different because I had the knowledge that I was wiped out beforehand. Really, really bizarre. Anyway, and another one was me in California, and there was a huge deluge. So there was a lot of ambulances around. There was otherwise, like, you know, big scene happening. Something went down, and I was helping people get in the back of an ambulance, and then all of a sudden this huge tidal wave came, and I had to run into this building, and luckily the building held and I was safe. And then I got into a helicopter with the girl afterwards to assess the damage, and everyone was already starting to repair. And this was in California, and I've had, you know, messages come to me about the Antichrist rising in California, whatever that means. We just don't know, but it's time to pay attention. And so CERN is definitely being used as a portal interdimensionally, and it may be triggered. I mean, they might be using it at the moment, but if it is triggered fully, and the things that have come into, the messages that come into are true, they're trying to raise these old ancient Luciferian gods to come into the earth to do the final battle with God, you know, basically God and the devil go lock horns. There could be some fucking shit going down big time in order to prevent evil from winning. Because inevitably, if you look at all the movies and all the messages and the narrative and rhetoric in this reality system that we're in, it's always the evil almost gets to that point where it all seems lost, but then good triumphs, and that is the hero's journey. And maybe this is all part of our initiation as a collective, in order to go through that hero's journey of sensing that all hope is lost, and that we look at the world around us, many have fallen, many have, you know, fallen asleep and just selling their souls and not even clued up as to what's going on. But I sympathise, you know, because they are under a lot of toxicity and a lot of programming epigenetically over so many generations. But ultimately, It's up to them to activate that divine spark within them and say enough's enough, right, I want to face the truth, I'm ready to face my demons and the truth of this world in order to progress. And that will add stress for your development, because diamonds only form unless they're put under pressure. And maybe this is a school, maybe this is so fucking well orchestrated and convincing to us in terms of learning the knowledge of good and evil, that maybe this whole reality system is just a narrative. It's set up in order to make us believe as part of us gleaning the knowledge of good and evil. So maybe this evil is necessary in order to play its part in the script in order for us to learn the knowledge of good and evil. You know, it's all worth considering. And so this is all part of having an open mind and seeking truth and wisdom, because honestly, knowledge like this is just nourishment for the soul. I remember my awakening, I spend most of my time just researching the truth and the soul science of like astrotheology, astrology, you know, how all these systems work, decoding my dreams now, purifying the body, and just opening myself up to all the information, because then I know subconsciously my spirit, my higher self, picks out the ones that are going to serve and connect the dots, which is scientifically the way to go about things in terms of recognizing patterns. And when patterns are repeatable, then you can identify solidarity and credibility in those views in order to, you know, start maybe feeding it some attention and paying some attention to it, like these synchronicities we get all the time. So yeah, I thought I'd share that. Let us know what you think, but it's one worth looking at and paying attention around CERN, Geneva, possible solar flare coming up as well. We've got the birth of the Aztec 6th sun as well on May 26th, which is in a few days time actually. So the new moon, the full moon's going to be in Scorpio, and our sun at the moment is just crossing over into Gemini, and that is otherwise where the Milky Way galactic plane is, which intersects between Taurus and Gemini, and Scorpio and Sagittarius, which is why these signs are so very important. Yeah, and that's why there's a lot of cosmic energy that comes through. So if we're looking at, and this is what Nostradamus predicted, something to look around May for something big to happen. So it might be either this May, next May, or the May after. Still within the 7 years, we've got 3 years left of the Great Tribulation, that there could be something big that happens, you know, within that time period of the next 3 years. So it's maybe worth just stocking up a little bit on you know, some foods and waters and stuff like this, just in case. It's always best to be, you know, planning for the worst but hope for the best. And I'm still positive about everything, so I know who I am, I remembered, but this is all going to play itself out. You know, there's a lot of things outside of my control which I surrender to. You know, there's a lot more higher forces, a lot more higher entities. I can only do my part in discussing this and getting this out there. And this may not, you know, reach the masses, but at least it might reach the few, which will help them out massively in terms of shifting their consciousness and able to, you know, help shift the grid that we're in. But the key is to get rid of this 5G, because it's discordant. It's fucking ill. It's ill frequencies that are being emitted. And I know another guy who I follow, Eddie432, he's on it, Universal Truth. It's worth checking him out as well. He talks all about this. You know, it's all regressive technology, and it's been used to infiltrate, and it's weaponized, but they've packaged it up so well and sold it to us as candy in order to accept the fact that we are being targeted and weaponized and tracked and traced as part of this archontic parasitical consciousness that wants to take over humanity and planet Earth, which is the heart. But they aren't going to win. They are not going to win. Not on my watch anyway. As long as I still draw breath, I'm going to anchor that truth and that light and spread it, and let them know that we cannot be conquered. One simple man cannot be conquered. Just after a few years of, you know, a few mushroom trips and just absolutely exploding away all this satanic programming that they probably put us under for generations. You know, I just come in and just within a lifetime, within a few years, all their work over so many generations just undone like that. I mean, how fucking pathetic. And this is what I believe is happening. It's all crumbling through their fingers, and they're just like so desperate now. They're like, fuck's sake. So now we're just going to deal the hammer blow. You know, solar flare, or maybe even not. Maybe not. It might come to that point where it's not even necessary. If humanity wake the fuck up and actually learn and seek the knowledge, because we're now in the age of information. It's all there. You can prove 5G is fucking sick for us. It's not good. Being exposed to 200 watts of energy, from 1 watt to 200 watts. It's radiation poisoning. It disrupts the red blood cells in your fucking body. Our blood cells, the red blood cells are toroidal fields. They're like donuts, you can see them. They've got the typical fucking donut toroidal field shape. And that frequency fucks the hemoglobin, which fucks up our body's capacity to oxygenate itself in its cells, especially in the lungs. And so this is directly linked. Of course, we also have this bioweapon as well. So we're getting attacked from different angles here. An actual bioweapon, biological bioweapon, and also the radiation. And then the vaccines, the shit they put in there. Toxicology, because it's all poison. That's pharmaceutical for you. Pharmakeia is the makers of poison, because they used small doses of toxicity to kill off whatever was, creating illness in the body, but also killed your cells. So they use poison to kill poison, which is why they have Caduceus, the rod of Asclepius, and they've taken us away from herbal, natural remedies of going to nature, what Mother Nature provides to actually heal us, which Dr. Seppi talked about, and just the obvious things: rest, clean water, get rid of the toxicity, because our natural state is one of immortality. I guarantee you, if this fucking moon wasn't here, distributing its, again, Van Allen belt radiation, discordant frequency emitted from Saturn, to give the illusion of decay, which gives the illusion of time and aging, we would be immortal beings in these bodies if that moon would just fuck off, and all the other shit that's going on in Big Pharma would fuck off, and we got taught the truth about pure foods, raw foods, clean water, and how to truly heal the body with clean air and just eliminate toxins, because toxins only feed parasites because they rely on acidity in order to exist, and this is exactly what they're trying to fucking set up here on the planet and within our own bodies, which helps them gain control over our minds. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. There's a lot I can talk about, because I can sit for hours and chat about this kind of stuff. But yeah, just bit by bit, just let it sink in, process it, consider it, and like I said, always plan for the worst but hope for the best. But know there's definitely a fork in the roads, and as long as you're on the right hand path seeking the truth, you'll be okay. Many are going to be damned and probably sucked into this another 25,000 year cycle of being harvested. Who knows, maybe the whole thing's going to collapse and everyone will be saved. So we will see. We can only rely on ourselves. We're the ones we've been waiting for. As much as we want to rely on people upstairs, we have to do the groundwork down here in order to change our lives. We have to take action and control, and that's all part of the sovereignty mindset. And this is something I teach as part of my website, taking back control and dispelling all the fear from these governments, these bailiffs, these police, and knowing our rights and exercising those rights as a child of the Most High Divine Creator under divine law, as a divine creation. Alright guys, all the best, stay blessed and speak soon. Cheers.